my career path, and I didn't want to be a medium at all. I did not want to be a medium. It would be the last thing. It'd be the last thing that I'd want to be. I mean, seriously, I could not tell my mother when I was teenager, I want to be talking to dead people. I would think I'm crazy, right? And in those days, by the way, they would put you away. When I first started doing this work, they wanted to put me away somewhere. And they used to in the olden days, in the 30s, they say people were schizophrenics, and they were really just, a lot of them were mediums. Anyway, my career path, I was passionate about writing. I was working in the Broadway theater when I was 17 years old. And I was fortunate enough that my father was a stagehand there. And my grandfather was before him. And my brother actually still works in the same theater on 45th Street. And I was working on the show Grease, the original show Grease. And I was also going to Hunter College. But to support the college, I worked for my father in the theater, pulling ropes, the scenery for Grease. And I used to see that show. I used to stand on the sides and watch that show. And I was very passionate about the theater. And I said, I could do that. Why don't I do that? All the stagehands were downstairs playing cards, poker. I'm not a poker player. I can't do that. And I can't stand here and just watch these actors doing Grease over and over again. I could do that. I can do some more with my life. So what I did was I researched a college. You know, I had 2 years of broadcasting. So I wanted to get a college degree in broadcasting because I thought, I'm going to be a TV writer. I want to write sitcoms. So I researched it, and I looked up Austin College, Texas. There was Emerson College in Massachusetts that dealt with broadcasting. And there was also San Francisco State University. Now I realized that once I researched this, that any college in California at the time, if you're there for a year and you have residency, you go for free. And since I was paying for my college myself, that's what I decided to do. So I left New York and I went out to San Francisco. I'd never been there before. To make a long story short, I was in the broadcasting department there, finishing up my senior year, and we had a broadcasting conference. And in the conference, we had alumni come in from usually LA, well-known writers and producers who made it, who were alumni. And I picked up Tony Yurkovich and David Onspa, who were doing the show, Mississippi Blues. And I remember very clearly, I asked Tony Yurkovich, I'm driving him around. So I was a person who was in charge of bringing them to the hotel, to the university, back and forth, bringing them out to dinner. I was in charge of that. So during our rides, I said, listen, I'm graduating from San Francisco State, and I'd like to have a job in production. Sitcom writer, I love a job in production. Do you know, possibly can I work with you? He said, sure you can. Just be there by July 7th in North Hollywood at MTM Studios, and you got a job. I'm like, this is great. Oh my God, this is incredible how this happened. Just dropped in my lap. So I went back to New York, and I had the $3,000 I saved up. I bought a used car, an Audi Fox. Remember, it was terrible. It was a stick shift. And the day before I left, my mother had a stroke, and she went to the hospital. She couldn't speak. And I had the dilemma of, do I follow my dream? Do I stay with my mother? What do I do? And I knew within me that she'd want me to follow my dream no matter what. So I drove cross country, and I got to Hollywood finally. Cross country, mind you, 20 years old. And I called up the number that I had for MTM, and I asked for Tony Yurkovich. He never returned the call. And after my 40th call, the lady said, listen, you shouldn't call her anymore because we don't hire people this way. He's not returning the call, so he's not interested. I literally was left in Hollywood, not knowing a soul, having a beat up car, having these weekly places to live that I was renting by the week. I was literally looking up the Hollywood signing. Is this a joke? Is this a cosmic joke? So I found, I went to every place I could to find a place to work. At one point, I was going to sell my blood. That's how hard it was. And that afternoon, I got a call from a production company saying, we need a runner to deliver scripts. So I'll take it. So I used to do that. I used to be a runner going from North Hollywood down to Hollywood, which is over a hill. And funny enough, looking back at it, that's how I learned how to drive in Los Angeles, which is a mega crazy place to learn to drive. So that's how I learned to drive and learn all about geography of LA. Anyway, it was that job. And then after that job was over, I decided I need more experiences. So I went out and I did temporary jobs. And I did it probably about, I don't know, close to 20 different temporary jobs, hospitals, law firms, advertising agencies. But I knew that I would still have my self-expression. So I'd write every afternoon. Ended up selling 2 scripts, 2 episodes, 2 shows, and I got an agent. Anyway, to make a long story short, I ended up through this temporary gig to work at the William Morris agency. And it was there, pulling staples out of contracts 8 hours a day. But I knew I had to stay with it. I knew within my being that I had to be true to however it's going to develop, however it's going to show itself. And this is before I did anything mediatistically or psychically. I just knew within my being I had to be this certain place. You'll know it. You will know it. And you listen to your heart. And I was at the place that my friend, my supervisor, Carol Shoemaker, her name was, she said, "Do you want to go see a medium?" And I said, "What's a medium?" Someone talks to dead people. I said, "I don't know if I go." But I went anyway to humor. And that's when the man, Brian, said to me, you're a medium and you're going to talk to dead people in two years' time. You're going to help change the consciousness of the planet. And I thought this guy was crazy. I said, I just want to be a sitcom writer. So to make a long story short, that did happen. I got a great job at Paramount, gave it up, as I said earlier, about reading, went to Brian's tutelage, started meditating, listening to my heart. And really the rest is history. When you start being true to yourself and listen to yourself, not anybody else, your life will be happy.